Welcome to Shakespeare FC, The Words, a 5-minute journey into the individual bits of language that were forged, fletched, hewn, and hammered, and sometimes crowbarred, into existence by our brilliant and witty Warwickshirean wordsmith, or, as you become more familiar, Uncle Will. I'm your host, Kari Marshall. Occam's razor states that when you hear hoofbeats, you probably shouldn't think of zebras. Basically, the simplest answer is usually correct. So, hoofbeats then. What do you think of? And what might those equine echoes have in common with ferocious fisticuffs that link the dusty riding school, the battlefield's mano-a-mano, and even the modern ritual of passive-aggressive complaint? A word that began not in offices or boardrooms, or even berating bumbling baristas, but in the hands, gripping reins, directing bodies, controlling movement and desires. A word born of handling things that resist being handled. A word made famous or viral not by a William, but by a Karen.
I would like to speak to the manager.
Uncle Will managed his use of manager, marshalling it rather sparingly, just twice. But when he does, he knows exactly what he's doing. William sets us to order firstly in his Love's Labour's Lost, that tells the tale of a group of well-meaning young men vowing to manage their minds through study, self-denial, and an outright ban on women, a plan doomed by Act 1, if not by common sense. Enter Don Armado, a swaggering, over-articulate Spaniard who promptly forgets all notions of discipline the moment he falls headlong into love, announcing that even his sword must stand down because his manager, his guiding hand, his inner governor, has surrendered to romance.
Adieu, valor, rust, rapier, be still, drum, for your manager is in love.
Uncle Will would then call for the manager again in his Midsummer Night's Dream, a play where love is bungled by fairies, botched by mortals, and somehow repaired by bedtime. After the spells are lifted, couples correctly paired, and chaos politely swept back into the forest, Athens settles into wedding night calm. And it's here, with supper finished and 3 long hours yawning ahead, that Duke Theseus turns to the court and asks not for governance or philosophy, but for diversion, calling on the manager of mirth to organize masks, dances, or a play to rescue them from the agony of leisure.
Come now. What masks, what dances shall we have to wear away this long age of 3 hours between our after-supper and bedtime? Where is our usual manager of mirth?
Like so many of William's most practical words, manager begins in the hand. Its Latin root manus simply means just that, the hand, the thing that grips, guides, and gets things done. Think combat, mano a mano, hand to hand. From there it slips into the vulgar Latin, manuagium, a word suggesting handling, not abstract authority, but the physical act of steering something stubborn into order. By the 13th century, Italian gives us maneggiare, and here the word picks up reins. It means to handle horses, to train and control powerful animals, and by extension to manage affairs. This is management as touch, timing, and pressure, knowing when to pull, when to loosen, and when not to fall off entirely. French then polishes it for courtly use. Ménager becomes the verb for administering, conducting, and arranging with care. Ménagement, the noun for the art of doing so. And when English finally adopts manager, by the mid-16th century, it brings all of that with it. The stable, the estate, the stage, and the storefront.
Well, then I want to speak to your manager.
I don't have a manager. You found me off Craigslist.
Well, alas and alack, my friends, that is all we have time for. Join us again next time for another hopefully informative journey into the mind of Uncle William. I'm Kari Marshall. Farewell until next time.
Shakespeare Full Circle is a production of WGTE Public Media and is sponsored in part by the generous support of the Cowie Family Charitable Trust and Michelle and Kelvin McElwain. All previous episodes are available at wgte.org/sfc and wherever you get your podcasts.